Welcome back to Lawmakers. I'm Donna Lowry. We know AI is now a part of almost every area of our lives, and many are worried about the danger it might pose, including Chief Justice Michael P. Boggs, who made this comment during his third State of the Judiciary address to the General Assembly last week.
One way our state courts are leading is by remaining diligent in addressing challenges to our legal system. And this includes examining the impact of generative artificial intelligence. Courts across the world are dealing with this issue, and Georgia courts must be prepared. To this end, I have established a committee led by my colleague, Justice Andrew Pinson, and Court of Appeals Judge Elizabeth Gobeil to study the dangers and opportunities that AI presents for our courts.
Joining us now are two legislators exploring safety in a world increasingly shaped by AI. Republican Representative Todd Jones of South Forsyth is chair of the House Technology and Infrastructure Committee. Also on that committee is Democratic Representative Darshan Kendrick of Lithonia. She joined Chairman Jones on a special subcommittee last summer that dealt with AI. Welcome to both of you to Lawmakers. Okay, so this House Study Committee on AI held several sessions over the summer. You guys were very busy. Chairman Jones, I know the ethical use of AI was a major area when it came to recommendations. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we know it's almost impossible to legislate bad actors, but we want to be able to create a framework here in Georgia that continues to basically enhance or encourage innovation, have our businesses, have our college students, have literally all Georgians want to innovate within AI, but within some guardrails in terms of what's ethical and what's not ethical. And we've gone through that study committee in terms of what we believe is going to be acceptable and what's not acceptable. We definitely don't want to tamper down on innovation.
Yeah, I know that you've been working on this a long time, and I'm so glad you're involved too. And we're going to talk more about how you're passing that along to the public in a minute. Talk about the committee's recommendation when it comes to the focus on state government efficiency and on how AI can better serve constituents. So making even the state capitol more efficient, right?
Yeah, that's always important, right, to get services down to constituents. Really, we not only talked about over the summer how we can get artificial intelligence into the public sphere, but also the private sphere, and really taking a focus at how efficient our agencies are and what tools they could use through artificial intelligence to provide those services. We know that technology is changing. Sometimes government is 10 years behind, and so really taking an accounting of what tools are already being used by agencies and what tools are out there, like the chairman said, within a ethical framework, and how we can use that in order to provide services to the almost 11 million people here in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, technology, it seems to be slowly moving in the legislature. I saw a quote where you were upset over the fact that you still had to come down to the Capitol to sign something instead of DocuSign.
Yeah, I still find it amazing. I think we're still circa 1990. We should at least move into the DocuSign age. But going back to what Representative Kendrick said, I think when you think of local government, they're having just as many challenges around workforce development as the private sector is, and our ability to use AI to lever, basically be able to give services or provide services to constituents in such a way that we're going to be able to do it with less people, but greater efficiency and hopefully greater service, I think is one of the possibilities for AI.
So I remember last year you pushed for a bill to prohibit deepfakes in election interference, and it passed in the House, went nowhere in the Senate, like a few bills, both sides. So what happened, and will you try again?
What happened was, unfortunately, we did lose that momentum. And since we are on day 10, we'll go ahead and we'll keep it civil in terms of why we thought that was something that needed to be done, especially in a presidential year. We're going to go ahead and take a year break on deepfakes, and we'll most likely come back in 26 with deepfakes.
During another election year.
During another election year.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. It is an issue, these deepfakes that everybody is worried about, and they're scary when it comes to children and cyberbullying. And so talk a little bit about what you learned during the process about that.
Well, I learned so much, but really what I learned is there are going to always be bad actors that use the latest technology in order to do bad things, right? They get creative and they really exploit children here in the state by making different images of them, putting it on different bodies, and that is not only a form of cyberbullying, but it is criminal activity. And so the committee was very, very good to try to focus on that and make sure that we are protecting our children here in the state. I mean, it is hard to, catch all of the bad actors, but you can at least try to put in place a framework for what you should and shouldn't do when it comes around artificial intelligence.
Yeah, some scary stories out there. And I know you guys are dealing with children. So Chairman Jones, you helped connect rural districts with Georgia Tech to help students with computer skills, including learning artificial intelligence. So let's listen to educators talk about that program.
And this is our first song that we shared. That's something these rural districts really struggle with, is just finding the staff to be able to support computer science programs. So by being able to bring in the expertise from Georgia Tech, we kind of help them fill that gap.
This program was really Todd Jones. His vision, he realized there was a lack of computer science, certified teachers, computer science courses, computer science programming in rural counties and districts.
So bringing that kind of technology to them, they're seeing it all, and that was important to you. So to have these Georgia Tech students and faculty and all connect, explain how this works.
Well, first and foremost, when you're in the General Assembly, you get all this information. And one of the things that we were learning as you saw the computer science requirement for graduation coming up, we realized access and rigor is literally deplete within the rural parts of our state, unfortunately. And frankly, birthright should not determine the quality of the education that you get. You should get equal education across the state, all 159 counties, 181 school districts. So we went to Georgia Tech and I said, hey, within your framework, are we able to do a train the trainer to basically upskill the teachers who are down in rural Georgia, up in the mountains part of rural Georgia, and be able to help them basically allow these students to have an opportunity. You can't dream something you've never seen before, and this gave those students an opportunity. And the program is going so well. I think we're on 42 districts out of 181. It's going so well that I'm really optimistic that not only are we going to do computer science, we're going to do a lot of STEM within the rural parts of our state. I think it's awesome to be able to lift that up and provide these students that type of opportunity.
And Georgia Tech is very excited about it.
Georgia Tech could not be a better partner, and we're great to have them and have them as partners for us.
I know. It's important to get to the students in all of this, but you also want to get to women in particular and encourage them. You're holding a tech demo day, I understand, on AI for women at the Capitol on March 13th. So tell us about it. We've got it up on the screen.
Yes, thank you so much for that. So it's Women's History Month, of course, for the month of March. We did the first tech demo day highlighting people of color last year. So this year is for women in artificial intelligence, because a lot of times when we think about STEM jobs, a lot of us still think it is a male-dominated industry. And so I wanted to celebrate women during Women's History Month. And so it's open to the public. So come on down to your state capitol and we'll feature 10 amazing women that are doing amazing work here in the state of Georgia on artificial intelligence. And they are going to tell us how what they're doing is really helping the state of Georgia drive dollars here and all those good things that we like to see.
We hear so much about artificial intelligence in terms of using it and all, but to actually see the people behind it all will be cool.
Yeah, they'll have some demos. We'll have some special guests come in and talk about it. It's going to be a great
I may
event.
have to come over and look at that too. So Chairman Jones, at Georgia Tech, you had them come over to help lawmakers with AI last week. Talk about that session.
Well, in order to talk about it, you got to create a base knowledge, right?
Right.
Especially when we're talking about a lot of acronyms and a lot of assumptions. Even Chief Justice Boggs, he talked about generative AI. What's the difference between generative AI and just machine learning, as an example? So being able to give our legislators and those that work within the Capitol just a base level of knowledge, so that as we are working on this legislation, and today in 25, 26, et cetera, we're going to be able to build up that, I'll call it AI IQ, so that we can understand that without AI, we can't get so many other advancements that we're looking for within our state, leading in transportation, leading in manufacturing, leading in areas that, frankly, Georgia has not traditionally led in. We can. That leadership flag's open. California hasn't taken it. North Carolina hasn't taken it. It's Georgia's for the taking, and we're going to do it.
So was everybody kind of receptive to that? They take it in? Did you have to do some basic level things too in terms of technology for some?
We had to do some basic level even before AI, just some basic, yes. It was interesting. But helping everyone up to be able to come up to a common IQ, I think is important. And the feedback that we got was terrific. So we're going to go ahead and continue to do ongoing sessions to help not just the legislators, their staff, but also the folks that work with us. Literally, it's like a family at the Capitol, and we'll be able to give everyone the opportunity to learn as much as they can.
How many actual bills do you think are you going to have coming out of the committee? Do you have any idea? Or you're still working on them?
Is it 2 already by Brad Thomas?
2 already. One around basically inventory with state government, and the other around, like Representative Kendrick said, around basically child exploitation, child pornography. That'll most likely lean also into elderly exploitation. But we're also going to see things like we're seeing air taxi bills come in, and those air taxi bills can't happen without AI. We're going to see some humanoid bills come in, and again, you can't have humanoids without AI. So direct AI, absolutely right. I think 2. I'll say because of AI, maybe 10 or 15. Yeah.
So a lot to look at.
Yeah.
So you've learned a lot. I know you have,
Yes.
and it's always wonderful to have you. You've been working on this for a few years. So thank you both for coming on the show. I appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
We'll talk more about it. So that's it for Lawmakers Today.